Podcasting from somewhere in the San Francisco Bay Area, the birthplace of Bruce Lee, the iPhone, and the bendy straw. This is Ruel's Running Podcast, a podcast about running, health, family, play, and an NSNG lifestyle. And now, here's your host, Ruel.
There was a dream a million miles away. There was fire in
Amazon.com. You know, I won't be surprised if more and more stuff that I shop for, buy, and get shipped to my home comes from Amazon. It's just a reality, right? And if this is your reality, go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon banner to get to Amazon. Why am I asking you to do so? Well, it is a no-cost-to-you way. If you like listening to Ruel's Running Podcast, it is a way that you can help the show out without spending more than you've already spent while shopping at the good folks at Amazon.com. So help us out. Go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon.com site, and shop, connect, and enjoy. Hello, citizens. Welcome to Ruel's Running Podcast. I'm your host, Ruel. How's everybody doing? You know, it has been a long time, it feels, for me switching on the mic to record a podcast. Part of it had to do with the fact that I was on vacation with the family for about a week, and in that period of time, I had 3 sort of guest shows lined up and released. So it's been at least 3 weeks or more since I've actually turned on the mic to do one of these regular shows, and I'm glad to be back, and I hope you guys are glad to tune in. I'm glad you guys are here. If you are a new listener, welcome. If you are a return listener, welcome back. Yeah, so what's going on? Man, time flies. The summer has gone by. We are in the second week of school here for my kids' school district, and the first week was kind of rough. It always is, for whatever reason, if it's just trying to get back into the groove of things as a parent or helping the kids through the new routine. It's like my oldest son is gonna end up with homework and all that stuff. So yeah, and then on a work level, going through shifts in management and whatnot, so it's that whole adjustment period. So there's kind of quite a bit going on. But what seems to be consistent is, and you guys know what I'm going to get at, is, can you hear that? No, I'm not in the bathroom. That's my cup of coffee. I'm just kind of swirling around. And if you hear a hum, those are the wheels on the highway, the freeway. I'm driving home on a Monday morning, on a Monday afternoon. What the heck am I talking about? Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, I had a work team lunch today. It was great. It was a celebratory lunch for the team, for the company I work with. One of the things that I do is I work in the realm of mobile applications. I don't get to talk about it a lot on this podcast. For some reason, I just choose not to. But yeah, the company I work for, the team that I work with, last week released a Android version of the app that we've been running for a good number of years on the web. There's already an iOS app, but we released the first version of the Android app. So team celebrated that. We went to a fancy place over at Half Moon Bay. It's awesome. Great recommendation. And what did I have at this so-called fancy place? I say it's fancy because it's got a view of the ocean, and there's golf courses around it, and or a golf course. And the valet guy was the only way I was able to get my vehicle parked, and I had to pay for it and tip for it. So yeah, it's fancy enough for me. So I wore my fancy attire, my old denim jeans with holes on the knees, classic styling, I don't care, man. But yeah, I had their cheeseburger. You know, if you listen to the Tim Ferriss show, the podcast, his podcast, he had what's his name, the author of The Tipping Point, or Malcolm Gladwell, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I hope I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, let's say that I'm not mistaken. The conversation went along the lines of, what would you order if you were at a fancy restaurant? And the guest of the podcast said, I'll order the cheeseburger. And Tim Ferriss asked him if he did that because that's what he wanted, or did he do that because he wanted to mess with the kitchen staff and the restaurant staff. And Malcolm's response was, well, he likes a cheeseburger like I do. And when you go to, so my basic thought regarding ordering a burger is that you can't mess up a burger unless you're really incompetent. And that's sort of the same sentiments as Maxwell. No, I'm not comparing myself to Malcolm Maxwell. Malcolm Gladwell. I need more coffee. But you'll understand why my brain isn't working so right in a minute. Anyways, so same sentiments as Malcolm Gladwell. You can't mess up a burger, and if you do, then you're really incompetent. But if you're at a pricey, expensive, fancy joint, why would you order the cheeseburger and not like the filet and the lobster and all that, stuff? Well, it's because this. If you really like a cheeseburger, get a cheeseburger. And if you're going to order one at a fancy, expensive place that takes food seriously, then you can sort of rest assured that if they're going to work on your cheeseburger, they're going to make it a seriously good cheeseburger because it's that important to them. Makes a lot of sense. And so that's what I did. I went straight to the menu and I bypassed all of the seafood and all the fancy stuff, and they had one cheeseburger on the menu, and that's what I went with. And they had an add-on for like a fried egg and other stuff, but I went for the add-on that was a pork belly. So instead of the standard bacon that you would get at any other restaurant, I went for the pork belly. It was awesome, and it was it was a treat. So rather than going for the sloppy lettuce wrap or without any bun, I said, give me whatever your gluten-free option is as far as bun or bread, so that way I can have at least a feel that I'm actually having a burger. And and I ended up eating it with a fork. I mean, the thing was served not on a bun, but on some sliced gluten-free bread option, and it was served on top of, I don't know, it was like a wooden board. It reminded me of a cheese board with a paddle, a wooden paddle. That's what it was. And it was good. I didn't eat all of the bread. I ate all the other stuff within it, and it was delicious. And to drink, I wasn't messing around. When we got there, I was with 4 other members of the team, one of which is the product manager for the team. And he was going to be responsible for taking care of the team's bill for the outing. We called it an offsite. So the wait staff came over, took drink orders, and people were ordering cocktails and stuff. I'm like, oh, so you guys are going alcohol? I'm like, yeah, what the heck? So I ordered a bourbon with some ice, or on the rocks, but not heavy on the rocks, easy on the rocks. I don't ordinarily order like whiskey at a restaurant, so I don't know how to order it. I feel off, so I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna ask Lonnie, and I'm gonna ask Trey, and I'm gonna ask Vinny, guys, and I'm gonna ask Andy, guys, help me out. How do I order a drink like a bourbon or a scotch, just with maybe a couple of things of ice? I got my phone ringing. Hold on a second, because I don't want to sound like an idiot the next time I order at a restaurant. 1 second. All right, that was my wife. She worked from home today, or partly at home. She had some personal appointments, and she had picked up one of the kids from school. So we're going to rendezvous at home and plan to do take care of picking up the rest of the kids and finishing off the day. Awesome. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna ask the guys. You guys are better at this than I am. I'm learning from you guys, right? I've learned to enjoy Scotch or bourbon, on occasion. So I need to know if I'm gonna order this stuff at a restaurant. How the heck do I order it without sounding like a dweeb or a noob? I am a noob. Yeah. So I had one of those. I asked the waitress to give me a bourbon, right, on some rocks. I said easy on the rocks because I ordered a Scotch yesterday. Had dinner with the family to celebrate my birthday, and I asked for some Scotch, a glass of Scotch, and then the waitress said, was it like a single or a double? And I have no idea what the amounts are for these things, so I just give me the single on the rocks. And when the thing came to me, I'm like, okay. I just see a glass filled with ice, and it was halfway filled with liquid, and it looked really diluted. I mean, but it did the job for me. Meaning, I had the taste of Scotch, and I had a little buzz going. I mean, I don't go for the buzz; I go for the enjoyment. But I don't know. It was just kind of weird. Like I mentioned, I don't ordinarily order the stuff at a restaurant. So, which means if I'm enjoying some time on occasion, it's because I have a bottle at home, and I'll have a little like a half shot or a shot to enjoy with like one ice cube. That's it. But it totally was different at this restaurant yesterday, where it just seemed like, a lot of ice, and some diluted liquid. But yeah. But today's lunch with a bourbon, it was nice. It was about the same amount or more of liquid as the Scotch from yesterday, with fewer ice. So as a matter of fact, that meant that there's more liquid today than it was yesterday. So what can you do? Nothing. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and the team ordered some appetizers. They had some raw oysters and some shrimp cocktail. And then this one board, it had like cheese and cold cuts, and it was nice. It was really nice. There was one that came to our table by mistake, but we were given it we were allowed to hold on to it and enjoy it. It was a grilled avocado. So they took the avocado, they sliced it in half, and they put grill marks on it, and it was nice. Some things I would have done without, but it's a fancy restaurant. You just sort of work around to things like the fact that they had dressed the avocado with honey, and they had like some sprinkled some sugar at the bottom of the plate where the avocado was sitting. So I'm like, oh. So scrape, wipe down without, and trying to not look too much like a douche in front of my coworkers. And they had some olive oil on the table that wasn't too bad at all, so I just enjoyed a bunch of that, where I felt like, what I'm eating may have some extra sweet that I can do without, but I don't have the time and the patience to be anal about cleaning it out. I'll just douse a whole bunch of olive oil off to the side and enjoy that with it, and it's pretty good. The thing about the restaurant, it's called the Conservatory, if I'm not mistaken, and it's at now I'm going to sound like a real douchebag. It's at the Ritz-Carlton. I never thought I'd utter that name on this podcast, me attending something at the Ritz-Carlton, but yeah, that happened to be where I was at. A place called the Conservatory in the main building, and it was good. But the food is locally sourced, meaning in the area, the Bay Area. So they've got this big old diagram, like if it had to do with the meat, it diagrammed where the farm was, where the meat came from. If it had to do with like the oysters and the clams or whatever, it showed where north from us where those were sourced, and if there was any sort of dairy items and cheese, again that the board illustrated where that would have come from. Vegetables, fruits, and all that other stuff. So pretty neat. Even the beer and the wine. So all locally sourced ingredients. So enjoyed it, enjoyed the food, enjoyed the drink, enjoyed the company, and I had to cut out earlier than the rest of the folks so that I can and work with and also anticipate the traffic, which is always a pain in the butt when you have to get from where we were at to where I normally am at. It winds through the hills and single lane roads, and there's, if somebody has an accident, it's just a mess. So I wanted to anticipate any of that, and here I am. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I had a bourbon for lunch, and that might be why my brain isn't working right, and I was calling Malcolm Gladwell Maxwell. It kind of works, right? M and the well sound. You kind of smush it together like a sandwich. Malcolm Gladwell suddenly becomes Maxwell. And maybe not. Sorry, Malcolm. Some shout-outs. I want to shout out to Lita Fett. She's a friend of the show, a friend on Facebook, a friend on the NSNG group. She says on Messenger, and she says, my army buddy / pregnant friend / coworker challenged me to do 30 minutes of some sort of workout every day in August. We're accountable to one another. Side note, that is awesome. Congratulations, Lita. And she goes on to say, how does that involve Ruel? Since she continues, totally hoping to catch up on the last 7 or 8 episodes I've missed. Yay, August, she says. And today is done. But had her 9-year-old with her, and so, it'll be a special treat to catch up on the days when it's just baby and her. So, yay, Lita, awesome, that's great. I'm glad that you are somehow integrating the show in your world, but even more, I'm glad that you and your buddy are challenging each other and holding each other accountable, having those workouts. Keep on going. You're doing great. I'm sure you are. And let's see. And best regards to you, your friend, and all the little ones. Hey guys. Hey gals. Hey little ones. Awesome. I also want to give a shout out to Fodi on Twitter, Fodi Panagakos. He basically says, "Hey there, nice to meet you. What do you have?" No, that was me. Excuse me while I knock my brain into some order. He says, "Hey, Ruel, heard so much about you from Vinny and Anna's show. Great to connect. Then I asked him, nice to meet you. What did you have for breakfast?" And he came back with, "I had 2 leftover cheeseburgers, no bread, following my run this morning. Have a great day." And I basically said, "Fodi, that sounds epic, actually. I did black coffee from home, and now about to go on a run." So Fodi's knocking it out, working out, and going in SNG. No sugar, no grains. Boom. What's up, Fodi? Thanks for being on this side of the Twitter sphere with me. Appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And I want to give a final shout out to David Ramirez. What's up, David? He caught me on Twitter. It's awesome. What did David have to say? He said, in response to one of my previous podcasts, he says, blog is video blog, like get my stuff together. And he was right. He was definitely right. Then I asked him, dude, so by the way, what's for dinner? He says, glad you asked. So what did David have for dinner? He had pork chops, cauliflower rice, and spinach with artichoke dip. NSNG all the way. David is also a friend on Facebook, and we know each other from the Vinny No Sugar No Grains Facebook group as well. What's up, David? How's it going, brother? Yeah. So that's that. That is shout outs, everybody. For now. Dun dun dun. Kind of move on here. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy the Olympics. I don't have cable, but I did watch stuff sort of on delay. And, whatever I caught, it always brings me back to a time when my wife and I had our first son, because he was born around the time, actually he was born at the time of the Olympics. I guess the last, was it about 8 years ago, when Michael Phelps really killed it, like he did again this year, but he really killed it and got his record winning gold medal, what do you call it? Counts. Is that how you say it? Yeah. And it's just the closing ceremony just wrapped up the other day, and it just flew by. And yeah. So I had recently, I've got some pictures and footage, and I'm working on a video for the vlog on slow cooker Kalua pork, which is basically pulled pork, and it has a little smoky vibe to it, and it's delicious. And I made this batch because my wife wanted me to, and I love the dish, but also because our daughter, who's 2.5, we've learned that she likes the taste of pulled pork or Kalua pork. So, and the way we found out about that was she had a taste of my wife's carnitas from her burrito bowl from Chipotle. So, I whipped up a batch of, I make it sound like it was like nothing, but it took 16 hours in a slow cooker, low. But I made I'm working on a video for that, and I'll post it as soon as it's done, and I'll share it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I love the Kalua pork. It's very easy. I'll just talk about what's in it for the folks who are interested in food and and interested in their health and the tie into food. I like it because it's pork. So you get a pork butt roast. You season it with sea salt, and you put it in the slow cooker. And if you have some liquid smoke, some people say add like a teaspoon of liquid smoke, but to me, honestly, it's just too much liquid smoke. So I just get like a teaspoon in a small saucer, and I get a brush, and I just brush the liquid smoke over the top of the meat while it's in the slow cooker. And underneath, and I got this tip from, I want to say Nom Nom Paleo, the Nom Nom Paleo cookbook, is when they do their slow cooker Kalua pig or pork, they actually use like 3 strips of hickory smoked bacon at the bottom of the slow cooker, and then they put the roast right on top of it. So you get some of that smokiness flavor coming from the bacon into the overall pork dish. So I did that. I did the bacon strips at the bottom, and then the brushing of the liquid smoke on top, and that's basically it. And here's the thing: what I do, right? Once the roast is done after 20 hours in the slow cooker at low, once it's done, and you bring out the meat, the roast, and put it I put it in a ceramic dish, and you take the forks and you break out all the meat, you pull it, right? You separate all the meat into its strands and whatnot, and it looks awesome. But here's what else I do. I take all of the liquid that is left in the slow cooker, and I add it back into the meat. That way, it never dries out, and it always stays awesome. And if you don't like and there's tons of flavor, but if the liquid doesn't appeal to you, you could always just take a fork and get as much meat as you can and drip out and without any of the liquid, and enjoy it that way. But trust me, if you want to ensure that your pulled pork or slow cooked Kalua pork or Kalua pig is not dried out, save the liquid. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't be fearful of the fat that is rendered from the pig or the pork, because it's not bad for you. It's delicious. So there you go. Enjoy.
Coming up, Rue gives us something else to think about. How vague is that, Ruel? Geez. Could you be any vaguer, Ruel? Well, it's all coming up on Ruel's Running. Okay, the book is called Eat Happy, Gluten-Free, Grain-Free, Low-Carb Recipes for a Joyful Life by me, Anna Vicino. Eat Happy has 154 delicious grain-free, gluten-free recipes that are also free of any processed sugars. There are meats, fish, sides, soup, starters, casseroles, slow cooker recipes, breakfast dishes, and even desserts to satisfy any sweets craving you might have, all with virtually no sugar. If you are low-carb, paleo, are wanting to keep autoimmune issues at bay, or just want to lose extra weight, Eat Happy gives you comfort food where you won't miss the sugars or grains, so your body and brain can feel happy from eating real food. The ebook is available for purchase. And, I'm finding out that a lot of people like cookbooks on an ebook. Okay, go get it then. Now's your chance. Yay! Yay!
So yeah, folks, check out the vlog when I get it updated with the slow cooker Kalua pork recipe. It's delicious. My daughter loves it. I like it. I love it, and it yields a lot of food, so it's great for meal prep. You just do it in advance, and so you have something delicious, and you take care of the family all at the same time. Kinda, yeah, awesome. A little update. I know I mentioned that at lunch with the team, with the coworkers, and tomorrow is a birthday, and I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I've been celebrated yesterday with the family, celebrated today, not with coworkers. I just had lunch with the coworkers just for lunch's sake, but but my birthday's tomorrow, and been getting a lot of well wishes, happy birthday wishes on the Facebook groups, and it's nice to see. So thanks everybody if you are one of the folks who wish me well at that time. I appreciate it. And so I'm going to be 43, I think. Yeah, I think I'll be 43. Yeah, somewhere there. You lose track, don't you? You lose track after a certain while. And I don't know. I don't feel like I'm the age that I am or going to be. It's weird. Sometimes I feel like I'm older. And that's when I remember to eat right. And no sugar, no grains. And that's when I remember to take my multivitamins, my daily multicaps from Pure Vitamin Club, and throw in the broad spectrum magnesium. So do what I can, and always, have that coffee. It's magical. It's the magical, mystical. My magical, mystical. I keep using those two words together. Mystical magic, magical, mystical. There's nothing magical and mystical about it, but it's just delicious and it's awesome. It's coffee, black, sometimes with a splash of heavy cream. Depending on how I feel, sometimes a little butter or coconut oil. Yeah, but most of the time, black with a little heavy cream. Yeah, so, exercise, I'm sure is helping me out. I guess aerobically, I got it covered, doing my runs here and there, cardiovascularly as well when I decide to pick up the tempo, and also knowing that with age comes the need to maintain muscle mass, so I don't hit the gym, but I do tend to pick up kids a lot, and that's sort of necessary, and it just happens. And sometimes I do the occasional pull-up at a play structure, at a playground. That's just out of curiosity. And but sometimes I am intentional about the strength training, and it's something as simple as doing 3 sets of push-ups at home, and also doing the core work, or the ab work with hollow body position type workouts. You hold the positions and you rock and all of that good stuff. So yeah, that tends to really hit my midsection pretty hard. But those are seldom. But when I am intentional about those home workouts, I do see the benefits, and the way that I've learned to approach those type of workouts is every other day. Not like doing a healthy round of push-ups, only do it back to back, because if I want to, from what I learned, if I want to sort of get that muscle mass muscle building benefit, I need to allow the muscles time to rest before I hit it again. So back to back is fun, but it isn't necessary. Yeah. So eat right, no sugar, no grains as the base. Exercise, do my runs here and there, and try and be intentional with some of the strength work. I think I can stand to do some lower body work as well. Maybe some body squats, or actually I do them time to time, but I do them while I'm picking up children. So I need to borrow a kid and be intentional and do sets of the squats. That would be interesting. But yeah, so doing everything I can to stay strong, as healthy as possible, so that I can be around for my family, my spouse, and also be around to just kind of make your ears bleed while listening to this podcast. Gotta do that, right? Yeah, so what else is going down? I wanted to talk about a couple things that kind of annoyed me when the family was out on vacation, and I'll briefly mention them. I won't get into detail, but it's kind of sad when you're when you're approaching the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. That's where we're heading to, not to attend the park, but they've got there's access to downtown Disney for the general public, so you get the vibe of Disneyland without actually having to pay the price for tickets and whatnot. So you can access shops and all themed Disneyland and have a good time with the family. But on our trip there was a bit of traffic, nothing crazy, and there's multi-lane left turns, and the lane I was in during taking the left turn was getting a little backed up and didn't want to get caught up in the middle of the intersection. So I checked for clearance on the right, and I moved over to the next lane, only to be honked kind of insanely by some vehicle, and then that vehicle merged further right where there was even much more room, and then I got like the mean looks by this lady, older than me. I don't know, the word that comes to mind is hag. I don't know, tired, hag, and miserable. That's the only thing I can think of. But I'm like, wow, can't you at least make an effort? It's the happiest place on earth. So that was kind of annoying. So I didn't want to get too into that. And the other one was drive-through. On the trip back from Southern Cal to Northern Cal, taking Highway 5, there's a few stops where you can actually get to some restaurants and some gas stations and stuff, and a little comfort and relief, whatever that may be. And on the way up, we stopped and drove into the drive-through at an In-N-Out. So it was a nice hefty line. And the way it operates here is when it's pretty hectic, there's a guy with a kind of like a tablet taking orders wirelessly ahead of time, so you don't have to talk into a speaker and a microphone to place your order. So we do that, and I'm at a point in the line where there's in the drive-through line where there's multiple cars behind me lined up, and there are two windows. One window to receive food, one window to pay. And then there's a car that before the pay window, another car before the pay window, then another car, and then us. So about 3 cars before I get to the pay window, approximately. And the pay window clears, the food window clears, and the cars ahead of us start to move along, except for the one car right in front of me. So there's a gap, 1 car length. And there's another gap, 2 car lengths. Okay. I honk, beep, like, hey, wake up, in case you nodded off or whatever. No movement. Then eventually the pay window clears, and there's no movement. So then I honk a little bit more deliberately and longer, like beep, beep. Right? Then the car moves up to the pay window, and I follow along. Right? It's a drive-through. That's what you're supposed to do. I was honking not because I was being a jerk, but I was honking because it's a drive-through. And also, I'm also sort of representing, I feel, everybody else that's behind me as well, because they're waiting in line. It's a line. It's a drive-through. So the car ahead of us gets to the pay window, rolls down the window, and the driver, she, as I noticed that it was a woman, starts yapping in my direction. I couldn't hear a thing, right, because my window was up. And I could see the guy, the cashier looking through the booth, the glass booth. The glass booth that's sort of like part of the corner of the building, and he's looking at me with this like dumbfounded look, and then looking at her, looking at me. I can't hear a word that she says, but her head's kind of like moving up and down like she's trying to give me a lecture or something, or probably say some not so nice things. And there's also people outside the restaurant at the outdoor tables probably trying to enjoy their food. They might have heard stuff, but I didn't care. I just thought it was ridiculous. And it's sad. And my thoughts are, had I not been with the family, I would have been a different person. I would have exchanged words with her, whatever. Right? It's just fast food. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so didn't want to get into it, but I wanted to point it out. It's kind of sad, but people are people, and it's unfortunate. Yeah. Before I wrap up, I guess I want to say that I've been working on some stuff. What does that mean? Working on stuff. Everybody works on stuff, Ruel. Yeah, you work on your stuff. I work on my stuff. We all have stuff to do. But I've been really trying to set things up so that I can actually put myself out there to do some level of consulting. So I'm working on a website, and I'm going to share that. It's basically, when it's ready, it'll be out there. It's basically, the website is abadam.com. It's my last name.com. And basically, the way I see it, it's no frills consulting. And it's just basically the motto is like, get stuff done. And it's all around things like if you are a small business and you need help with your website or setting that up, maybe I can help you, right? Or if you are a small business and you're interested in, setting up, utilizing social media platforms to sort of get your business out there, right? Maybe I can help you. Maybe, right? Nothing fancy, nothing. What do you call it? No fluff, just, get stuff done. Also, after spending, I guess I'm working on my second year doing the podcast, that's also, if you are a business or an individual looking to podcast and you want a no-frills guy to help get you set up and started, I can help you with that. So why do I think that I might be that guy, that I'm capable? Because, one, I've done it. And the other is I'm comfortable with the technologies. I've been around sort of the high-tech stuff here in Silicon Valley for since the early 2000s. I've got my education in that realm. So and what I do for a living is separate. It's not the same. It's a whole different area, but one way or another, everything sort of ties in. Professionally, I work with a software development team. That's what my area. But I'm not talking about developing software for this consulting thing. I'm just looking at helping guys do sort of what I've already been able to do. I've been helping folks here and there, but I think it's about time for me to actually just put myself out there more to see how much more I can service I could provide for folks who are interested. Yeah. So look out for that, and it should be good. Now, I've got to get coffee again because it's calling to me. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but sometimes it just does. Sometimes it doesn't, and a lot of times that's in the evening. But it's not that late yet, so I'm going to do a little bit of that and see how it goes. It's probably going to be short, nothing substantial, just something nice and just a little taste. And I'll leave you with that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of the Silly Show. I am Ruel. This is Ruel's Running Podcast. Check me out at ruelsrunning.com. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/ruelsrunning. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/ruelsrunning, I believe. And check out the blog, youtube.com/ruelsrunning. Everything is there for you to enjoy. Now, hug a friend, eat something delicious, and go run something. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Ruel's Running Podcast with Ruel. If you like what you just heard, share it with your friends and your enemies. Also, be sure to check out the site over at ruelsrunning.com. This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production. Join us next time for another silly show of Ruel's Running Podcast.